Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Winter warm-up is on the way, but the chill lingers tonight. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Piorla. We're finally defrosting from those below freezing temperatures from earlier this week. So let's check in with Chief Rachel Frank for a first look at the forecast. How's it looking, Rachel?
Temperatures will actually climb above freezing tomorrow. We're thinking mid-30s. So the snow that's been sitting around in our driveways, on sidewalks that maybe haven't been properly cleaned up, we're going to get to melting some of that as we head through the day tomorrow. However, it is still cold the next two mornings. So Friday morning and Saturday morning, parts of the state at least will wake up to single-digit temperatures. At this point, we are used to it, and it will not be as cold as temperatures that we've seen earlier this week. So you've already been through the worst of it. 11 right now in Windham, 14 the current temperature in Meriden. Yeah, it's still cold out there, though, any way you slice it as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Single digits to around 10 inland and right about 15 degrees as we head towards the Connecticut shoreline. After another cold start to the day, though, it is a milder finish. We're up to 33 in Derby, mid-30s for Southington and for Wallingford, Brantford and Guilford up into the mid-30s tomorrow. It's a meltorama as we head through Mystic and Stonington in the low to mid-30s. I mean, meltorama might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but again, we are excited to be above freezing. 34 in Windsor and a high temperature right around the 30-degree mark in Winstead. We do see another big jump in the temperatures, though, as we head into the weekend. So we're going to talk about when highs are up around 40 degrees. Your full forecast is coming up in just a bit, guys.
All right, Rachel, thank you. We have some breaking news tonight out of Old Saybrook, where firefighters are investigating after a house fire. Crews were called to the home on Otter Cove Drive and found heavy flames coming from the roof. Firefighters worked to put out those flames, but say at some point the roof caved in and crashed into the second floor. In addition to battling the flames, crews were also battling the ice, and that made things significantly harder for the firefighters who were already working with a limited water supply.
We were making a push down the hallway into the master bedroom, and eventually we ran out of water after about 17 minutes of water on scene. From there, we laid LDH lines down to a couple ponds, and we're using a stream for water supply to the deck guns and master streams. With the cold temperatures, one of the ponds was frozen, so it took a little time cutting through that to get water out of there. With the cold weather, our firefighters are doing the best they can. When you get wet, you start to freeze up, and your gear turns into a sheet of ice as well, so it makes mobility even harder.
The chief says a few firefighters were injured, slipping and falling on the ice, but no one in the home was hurt, and there's no word yet on the cause of that fire. Well, the decision in Enfield is leaving some to wonder if it was politically motivated. The town has voted to get rid of its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot spoke with town officials about this decision.
It was a decision that shocked some, but wasn't a surprise to many. The town of Enfield voted to get rid of its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. Former town councilors say this makes the town look bad. Enfield Mayor Ken Nelson says the committee wasn't really doing anything.
The majority of the council made the decision that they wanted to repeal and end the DEI committee in Enfield. This has been an ongoing desire of the Republican majority.
Enfield Mayor Ken Nelson said the DEI committee could never keep enough members over the years.
For the course of time, starting with the very first meeting, due to disagreements within the members, some members never returned. Some members resigned, and we can't replace somebody unless they formally resign.
The committee was formed after an Enfield high school football player was called a racial slur while fundraising for his team. Some former committee members say they couldn't even get accommodations to attend the meetings.
And I needed captain, so a lot of times I would ask for virtual with captain, and unfortunately the room that was used in town hall didn't have the equipment to provide that. As a result, I started slowly backing away.
Town councilor at large Bob Cressetti believes this vote was politically motivated, especially since President Trump just signed an executive order to remove DEI.
And to me, it's almost like the same thing that they're following suit with the national level, with, eliminating DEI committees from the federal. And so I myself think that it's more of a political issue than an issue of not having enough people.
Mayor Nelson said that claim is simply not true, stating the committee wasn't doing anything.
They never came to the council and expressed problems within members or anything like that. So for this to be a shock is, not really the case. Former council members now worry for the future of the town.
And I'm really disappointed that the national political space has created a feeling like everything related to racial justice, social justice has to be killed. And I worry about that.
Mayor Nelson tells me he wants to steer Enfield in a new direction. He said he wants to get rid of gender and race when filling out job applications for town, arguing such applications should be based on experience. In Enfield, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
All right, Kay, thank you. The search is on tonight for the man who kidnapped a woman in Hartford. Police say the woman was found safe in Rhode Island.
Now, police say a man assaulted her, forced her into the vehicle, and then drove away. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson is at the Dunkin' on Maple Avenue where this all started to bring us the latest.
Yeah, guys, I'm here at Maple Avenue where Hartford police were actually dispatched about a reported kidnapping around this area of Dunkin' Donuts. Now, the people who reported that kidnapping in were saying they heard screaming, somebody saying, help me, as well as somebody getting forced and assaulted into a vehicle. Now, that vehicle actually ended up leaving this area and going to Glastonbury, as well as across state lines to Providence, Rhode Island, where the victim was found safe and sound. Now, we were able to catch up with Lieutenant Aaron Boisvert, and he gave some details about what they knew so far in the case.
Our dispatch center received several 911 calls of a female screaming for help. Callers reported seeing a male assault that female and force her into a vehicle. Just a few moments ago, our detectives were able to get a hold of the victim on the phone, as well as the suspect. We do believe it's domestic related, especially now that we've talked to her. We believe this is a domestic incident.
That's kind of scary, because you don't know what kind of people is out here. This neighborhood, I've never seen anything like that.
Now, police are saying that the suspect did drop the victim off at a location in Providence, Rhode Island, and he actually left after that. So he was not there when authorities got there. So the suspect is still out there. He's still in the car. It's a 2009 Hyundai Santa Fe, and the license plate is 1YD582. It is a Rhode Island license plate. So if you have any information, please do not hesitate to call Hartford Police. In Hartford, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
And we're learning new details tonight about what led up to a child being shot last night in Hartford. Police said they found a 12-year-old boy shot at the intersection of Capitol Avenue and Park Terrace. They said the boy had more than one gunshot wound, in fact, but he is expected to survive. And now Hartford police think this tragedy started as a snowball fight.
12-year-old was with another juvenile throwing snowballs. One of those snowballs hit a car. That car looped the block and chased the kids and fired rounds at the children.
Yeah, police are still searching for that car and the suspect. They were able to recover video from surveillance cameras nearby and say the investigation is active and ongoing.
We now know the name of the woman who was found dead in an apartment fire in Avon. Crews say 73-year-old Mary Jensen was found at the complex on Avonwood Road on Wednesday after a fire broke out there. The fire did spread to other apartments, but crews believe the flames started in Jensen's unit. No one else was hurt. The cause is now under investigation. Now to a Fox 61 follow-up. The Old Saybrook police chief responded to accusations made about him in a recent report.
Now, the town of Old Saybrook hired the police executive research forum, PERF, to look into why so many officers were leaving their department. Chief Michael Spera said the department was losing officers to higher pay and benefits at other law enforcement agencies. But PERF says it found through its investigation that officers were leaving because of an unpleasant organizational culture, excessive overtime requirements, and more. Our team sifted through Chief Spera's 27-page response letter, and these are the key points. In the letter, Chief Spera responded to many of the investigation statements. Spera says PERF failed to report on anything positive about the department and claims the investigation wasn't thorough. Spera says he wants to talk to PERF about the accusations and help solve the department's issues. If you want to read the report for yourself, head over to our website at fox61.com or download the free Fox 61 News app for updates.
New tonight, New Britain Mayor Aaron Stewart is making headlines in what could potentially be another run for governor. The chairman of the Connecticut GOP says Mayor Stewart has filed an exploratory committee for statewide office. Last year, Mayor Stewart announced she would serve her final term as mayor of New Britain, leading many to believe that she might seek another run for Connecticut governor. Back in 2018, she saw the Republican nomination for governor before dropping down to seek the nomination for lieutenant governor. So we'll see what happens there.
And a settlement has been reached in a lawsuit we've been following for years. Members of the Sackler family, which owns the Stamford-based drug maker Purdue Pharma, will pay billions over their role in the opioid crisis. Attorney General William Tong announced the settlement today. The family will be on the hook for $7.4 billion, and that's up from the prior settlement reached in June that was thrown out by the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, this is all over accusations that Purdue Pharma marketed their highly addictive prescription drugs without clearly stating the risks. The Sackler family has to pay $6.5 billion. The company covers the rest. And on top of the enormous financial penalty, they also have to relinquish control over the Stamford-based company.
This long, drawn-out battle after the Sacklers and Purdue ran into bankruptcy, tried to shield themselves. We went in after them. We went all the way to the Supreme Court, and we established that they can't shield themselves.
13 other states are involved. The money will be paid out over several years. Tong says it will fund opioid treatment and recovery centers. Portions will also go toward victims of opioid abuse. The deal still needs to be approved by a judge.